Today I want to talk to you about failure and what you can learn about failure. So I know failure gets a bad rap, right? None of us want to fail. We want everything to go right from the very beginning. But you can learn a lot from failure, and failure is meant to teach us, right? And I always think about failure as feedback. It's there to tell me something that I'm going the wrong direction, I'm in the wrong spot, I need to make some tweaks and turns. I'm not doing what I need to be doing. And so when you think about failure, think about what is it that the failure is meant to teach you. And so it's nothing worse than making the same mistakes over and over again, or failing at something and then quitting. So you want to make sure that you're looking at things in proper perspective. So I always look at failure like, okay, what is this meant to teach me? There's something here that I need to learn. There's something here that I don't know. And then there's something I'm going the wrong direction. So I want to make sure that I'm thinking about, what can this failure teach me? And if I'm going the wrong direction, okay, what's the next step? What do I need to do? And so when I think about failure, I know there's at least 4 or 5 things that I need to consider that is the reason why I failed in the first place. So the first one is I didn't prepare. And so nothing worse than showing up expecting things to be easy and smooth, and then I didn't prepare, thinking that I already knew, that I was already ready. So we need to prepare ahead of time no matter what. And so I can remember when I was a kid, my mother used to prepare for the week. She would iron out our clothes for the week, so we didn't have to worry about that. So she already knew, she had already in her mind, she was thinking about, and of course at that time it was street clothes, right? There wasn't any uniform. So she would iron out her clothes, she would iron out our clothes. So it required some preparation. You had to think about what you were going to wear, what went with what, socks, shoes, everything. Everything had to be prepared ahead of time. And so I think this is something that we got to do no matter what we're doing. We got to prepare ahead of time. We got to think about, okay, who is this customer? Who is this client? What am I doing with this person? What do I need to prepare? Do I need to do research? What is it that I need to do beforehand? So a lot of times we just don't prepare. Preparing is super important. If you're expecting an opportunity, you're looking to get a big break, make sure you're prepared for it. Make sure you've done the adequate training, the research, everything you need to do so that when the opportunity comes, you'll be prepared. So number 1 is prepared. 2 is got a big ego. It happens to the best of us, right? we obtain some level of success, and then we have the big head, whether, no matter what it is. Sometimes our egos we can let our ego get out of whack. So we got to be humble. We got to be thinking about being grateful, realizing the privilege, the blessing that we have to be in a position that we're in, and not think that we are God's greatest, creation since sliced bread. We got to make sure that we keep our egos in check, that we're humble, we're thankful, that we see the blessing that we have, we see the responsibility that we have, and that we owe it to other people to treat them well, to teach them what we've learned, to be always learning, right, from other people, be open to learning something new and not thinking that we know everything. 3 is we get complacent. So we fail sometimes because we get complacent. We have achieved a level of success and then we stop trying. We just expect for things to come to us without having to put any work. And so we got to make sure that we are not living in mediocrity, that we're not just comfortable expecting opportunities to come to us and we're not doing any work. And so if you want opportunities to come, you want to continue to achieve a level of success, you still got to put the work in. Regardless of what's happened in the past is the past. You are a success, that's great. But if you want to continue to be a success or continue to achieve a certain level of success, you've got to get up and do something. You got to get up and take action. The next one is I wasn't ready. And so this could go with not being prepared. So sometimes we're not ready for success, and that's why we keep failing, because we still have lessons to learn, whether it's lessons of maturity, lessons of preparation, lessons about, just different things that we got to learn before we can achieve the success. Sometimes we can't appreciate it until we've learned what we need to learn in order to, be, I don't want to say be worthy of success, but be able to handle success. So success is not easy for anybody. Sometimes we think it's easy because we see somebody and they look like an overnight success, but we don't see the 20 or 30 years of hard work that they put in every single day, or the 18 or 20 hours they work every single day in order to get to where they are. Success is a process. It's not just a one and done. So typically, we work on something and then we achieve it, then we should have something else to work on afterwards. If we don't, it could be detrimental to our lives because we give up. We stop doing anything because we think, okay, I've arrived. But what we really want to do is have one thing that we're working on, then the next thing. We're always working towards something completely, happy and, content with where we are, but we always want to be working towards something, even if it's just to be a better person. I think it's worthy, just something to always be working towards. The last one is you have to keep trying. You can't give up. You have to show up every single day. And so when you're failing, if you consider yourself to be a failure or that you're failing, it's possible that you quit. You stopped. Things didn't work the last time, so you've given up. But if you want to achieve the level of success that you desire, you got to make sure that you keep trying. You don't give up. You persist until you get to where you want to be. And so you got to show up every single day. And so sometimes we don't show up every day. We want the rewards, but we don't show up every day. We can blame and complain other people, but we don't do the work. We don't do what we're supposed to be doing every single day, regardless of what's happening. So finally, just a couple of questions to be thinking about is when it comes to failure, what failure can teach you is you got to be looking at, okay, what is driving me? What is driving me? So in other words, what is your big why? What's your big why? What's driving you? Number 2 is how bad do you want it? Sometimes we say we want something, but we don't really want it. We want it, but we don't want to do the work. So you got to ask yourself, how bad do you want it? And then, do you really want it? Sometimes we trick ourselves into believing we really want something. We want it, but we just don't want to do the work. So you got to make sure that you're thinking about these things when it comes to failure, because failure is meant to teach us a lot. There's a lot of things that we can learn from failure that we keep us from making the same mistakes. Failure can help us get better for the next time. Failure can help us to say, okay, this is what happened before. I've had this happen. So maybe I need to try this, or maybe I need to do this, or maybe, you got to be thinking about it. Failure, you should be thinking about failure. You should not just be failing and going to the next thing, jumping. No, you got to evaluate what happened during the failure. What was the mistake? What was the challenge? What was the issue? What can you do differently next time? So you got to be thinking about it, all the time. You got to evaluate each failure after it so you can see what happened, what you can learn, what can you do better next time. So failure is meant to teach us something. We're just not failing. It's meant to teach us something. So we got to learn it and apply, what we learned for the next time.